Flamio Hotman, thank you for joining us as always. Today we are going to be talking about the best, my favorite loser ever, Prince Zuko. Once again, thank you for joining us as always. Avatar: The Last Airbender is widely recognized as having some of the most satisfyingly written characters in all of shonen. Normally I don't call Atla shonen, but I have a specific reason to today, because it did release on American Shonen Jump. Nickelodeon. Every character from every series has someone as a fan out there, somewhere. There's probably someone out there who really likes Shao Tucker, and to you, Mr. Hitler, I say bad taste. But the most beloved characters, the ones that dominate popularity polls and our hearts alike, are the ones with layers.
Layers!
Onions.
Egg!
The best characters in fiction, the ones with staying power through generations of fans, are the ones who can be appreciated from almost any angle. Let's take Batman for example. For some, he is a brooding noir vigilante who takes down serial killers and his interpersonal relationships. But for others, he's a positively invincible warrior of space and time leading the Justice League. And this kind of adaptability and versatility is a big part of what's kept him at the top of the comics game for decades. Now let's get into the actual topic a lot quicker than usual, go me, and apply this to the Prince Zuko, my favorite proud firebending warrior, who is also a huge dork. From the outside looking in, I think that Zuko portrays himself as a very different character than when you actually watch the series. From the outside, I think he comes off a little more gutsy. He's got the iconic eye scar, scary red armor, and wields what everyone already assumes is the evil element. And the double swords certainly don't hurt. I mean, like, unless they do. They could actually probably hurt quite easily. He seems like he'd be a quiet, loner, badass kind of guy for the people who say shit like, Luffy is annoying, my favorite character is Zoro, which... I've got a video coming for you godless freaks who hate Luffy, just you wait. But then you start watching the series, and I mean, he's still got a cool design and a great voice actor and all that, but he's still kinda just a loser.
Whoa! Here for a rematch?
Trust me, Zuko. It's not gonna be much of a match.
Let's give a brief but comprehensive Suicide Squadian introduction to the Crown Prince of the Fire Nation. Unfortunately though, I can't use like Ring of Fire or Set Fire to the Rain or We Didn't Start the Fire, so thanks YouTube. Zuko was banished from his home when he was just a boy, sentenced to live out his days in exile, until and unless he can find and capture the Avatar. But why is this Zuko's job? Well, obviously, it's because of his great single act of disrespect, calling out the leadership in the military for their gross barbarism when regarding the lives of their own soldiers. Okay, but why this punishment, right? Because it seems a little excessive, especially given Ozai's record of gentle parenting. But seriously, this is a little excessive, even for Ozai, like presumably at least. And hear me out, because we're going to be doing some speculating here. Is a public ass whooping and permanent facial scarring not enough? Like, seriously, and I know Ozai, especially in this period of the series, is supposed to be like the love child of the Emperor, Darth Vader, and like 2 or 3 Hitlers, but this is about a lot more than just the war room. Like I said earlier, from the outside looking in, Zuko is a much different character than who he ends up being, and a big part of that is his firebending. Because no one assumes that Zuko is just kinda not very good. Even in some of his very first scenes, Iroh is calling his ass out for not even really knowing the basics of firebending all too well. Plus, it's not like we see a lot of this, but how exactly is Zuko tracking down the Avatar when the series opens? Because it kinda seems like they're just sailing around waiting for something to happen. He is showing all the skill and prowess of most Nepo babies by completely fucking floundering. So why on earth is he in charge of finding the Avatar? There are a few ways to answer this question, and number one is the literal in-text reasoning, which is that Ozai wants the Avatar captured, and Zuko did a bad, so he's gotta go get him. Sure. But how on earth is that going to happen? Either Zuko is just never finding the Avatar, like maybe the new airbending Avatar got mauled to death or fell down the stairs, maybe even while in the Avatar state, so cycle broken. Or he'll find the Avatar, who after 100 years of isolation presumably has mastered every element, gained spiritual enlightenment, and learned like 1,000 different ways to beat up a not very good at firebending trust fund baby. I mean, seriously, why would you throw away your heir to the throne on a pointless suicide mission over one mistake? Oh wait, yeah, he didn't.
She's a true prodigy.
Hey y'all, real quick before I get back to treasonously slandering the Crown Prince of the Fire Nation, I just wanted to ask you to please subscribe if you like the content that you're seeing, and more importantly, please comment. I love having discussions with my audience, it is my favorite thing to do, so please make sure to drop something down in the comments for me. But anyways, let's get back to the video. In every way that Zuko isn't, Azula is a true heir to the throne. She is cunning, manipulative, and a fiercely strong firebender. While Zuko spends a lot of the series essentially failing upwards into the side of our protagonists, Azula is like a demon. Not only does she do a pretty damn good job at hunting down the Avatar, his friends Zuko and Iroh, but she also completes fucking side quests in the meantime, like when she colonizes Omashu. And over time, Zuko's, well, frankly, ineptitude might have made him a useless and even boring villain, reduced to, like, Skeletor, but with a worse haircut. While luckily for Zuko, the gang, and the audience, there is one thing that Zuko is actually really good at. Being good. Now that may sound like sacrilege to any longtime Atla fans, as we all know what Zuko has to say about this.
Go! Why am I so bad at being good?
But he's not bad at it, like, at all. I would actually say that by this point in the series, he's amazing at it. Zuko thinks he's bad at being good because he stumbles over his words and makes mistakes. He doesn't prove to everyone right away that he's like a saint. But that's not what being good is. When Zuko confronts his father and finally tells him the truth about the Avatar and what he's going to do, in one of my favorite moments in the series, why is he being good? It's not because he doesn't trip over his words or because he delivers them with the cool confidence of an anime badass. It's because this is the right thing to do. Zuko thinks he's so bad at being good because to him, goodness has always been the same as perfection, but the two are not related. Goodness isn't about saying the right thing at the right time. It's not about people liking you or being attractive. It's not even about being a nice person, but that might be a video for another day. Goodness is about making the right choice because it's just the right thing to do, and that's what we see Zuko do consistently throughout the series, even if he does stumble. But with all this talk about Avatar and goodness and everything else, I mean, we couldn't keep him out of here for long. Come on out, baby. It's the fucking GOAT. You know who it is.
Did I ever tell you how I got the nickname, the Dragon of the West?
I'm not interested in a lengthy anecdote, Uncle.
It's more of a demonstration, really.
Uncle Iroh was the perfect person to teach Zuko that perfection is not the same as goodness. So perfect, in fact, that I really do question why on earth Ozai would make him Zuko's escort, but whatever. Throughout the show, and in Season 1 especially, Uncle Iroh is condemned and called a failure by the few higher-ups who can, including Zuko. What happened with Uncle Iroh at Ba Sing Se and how the Fire Nation reacts to it is the perfect example of what we've been talking about. Iroh made a righteous decision to stop the siege when his son was killed, although maybe a little too late there, buddy. And all the Fire Nation could recognize him was a failure, and while not surprising for the mega super evil death regime, it does demonstrate the difference between perfection or success and goodness. Iroh failed the Fire Nation, but he lived up to something much more important in himself. And of course, his brother then used this to attempt to usurp him as the future Fire Lord, hinting at how deeply okay he definitely would be with just giving the throne to Azula. Which obviously he does later, and I'm sorry, but Ozai crowning her Fire Lord and then immediately coming up with a much better position for himself is so funny. It's like if you got called into, like, the CEO's office and he was like, hey man, you do really good work around here. You're CEO, and you're like, what are you gonna do, man? You gonna, like, retire? Like, go live in, like, Florida or something? He was like, no, I'm actually triple God King CEO now, and I'm gonna go have sex with your wife. So what better person to teach Zuko that you can betray everything you've been taught was right, but still end up doing the right thing? Zuko's whole life, he tried so hard to be the type of perfect heir that his father could be proud of. But along the way, the only thing he actually got good at was being really, really good. I love the honorable loser Prince Zuko, and I would really like to see and cover more characters that focus on goodness and being like a kind person as opposed to just being strong or perfect. But that is the video for today, y'all. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Goodbye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video, and if you made it to this point, a special double thank you. I am gonna keep doing these end bits in I was about to go in my chair over there. You don't know where I'm pointing, but actually the things I wanted to show off for my collection were already here. So my girlfriend reorganized this bookshelf for us as she does on occasion. So up here we've got our new Fujimotos and everything. Got my little chainsaw man up there, but he's just not on. And then I've got this little dragon guy. I think he's friggin' adorable. I picked him up when I was seeing one of my friends. I think he's super cute. But that is the video this week, y'all. I will see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Goodbye.